Hello, guys. Welcome to Tweedle Time. I am the host, Andrew.
And I'm co-host James.
Today, we're going to talk about the Fourth Crusade, the fall of Constantinople, as well as the decline of the Byzantines as a whole.
Depressing topic today, folks. Kicking off our podcast.
My personal favorite empire is about to fall, and I'm not happy.
It's not about to fall. It accelerated the decline. It was not the ceiling factor.
Technically, it did actually fall because the Latin Empire was established.
But then it got reestablished, and we're getting too far ahead.
So, in my defense, fudge you.
Oh, really? You think that's gonna pass? We're gonna get destroyed by these freaking parents who aren't gonna watch this. It's like, oh, they're swearing.
Hey, in my defense, I've argued about less of a technicality and still claimed as victor. So, I don't care.
Well, you know what? People claim themselves as victors all the time. That doesn't mean they were.
The America also claimed themselves in Vietnam as victor. Were they victor? Yes.
Yeah, totally. They totally won Vietnam. That's why it's all communist now.
That's what it is. Hey, it's not losing if you let them win.
That is France Tactics 101.
Okay, we're getting off topic here.
We are getting off topic.
Yeah, like I said, fall of Constantinople, decline of the Byzantines, Fourth Crusade, sad times.
Yes, it was.
James, you want to just get started on talking about the Fourth Crusade?
All right. The whole thing was called by Pope Innocent III. After the other three crusades did not accomplish the main goal of taking Jerusalem.
Number one accomplished it.
Okay, number one took... The first crusade took Jerusalem and then a bunch of other land, and then they kind of started losing it because the Seljuk Turks were having any of them in their land. So they ended up losing Jerusalem again. So they called two more. Those failed. So we're going with the fourth one, which failed harder than all the other crusades combined.
I wouldn't call it a failure. I call it something worse than a failure because at least you were trying. This one, I can't even argue they were trying.
There were a couple people who tried.
Yeah, there was actually, take it back, there was a part of the Fourth Crusade, which we're not going to focus on, where they actually did try taking Egypt.
Hey, we should at least go over it at some point.
But it didn't succeed anyway, so it doesn't matter. It
didn't work out. Almost none of the kings joined in with this crusade. Like, the past crusades were really big because they had the kings of countries going along with this, like Richard the Lionheart.
Yeah.
He was dead, so he was not joining this one.
I don't know. I feel like that's a really poor excuse.
Yeah, I feel like he should join anyway. We'll just carry his corpse around. It'll be moral support.
Hey, if he was affected by a disease, we could pull a Mongol tactic here.
Hey, Mongols did nothing wrong.
Anyways.
So it was a bunch of like second tier nobles and stuff that went along with this whole thing. The whole thing was led by this guy named Marquis Boniface. I swear that's not how you're supposed to pronounce his name.
Yeah, you can be destroyed later.
Of Montferrat, and he was some rich Italian dude. I don't like Italians very much.
Yeah.
Just because of the Venetians.
And they switch sides.
Whenever it goes wrong, just change team.
Hence why they sacked Constantinople.
Yeah.
Swap sides. What do you know?
All right, Andrew, you want to go into what they did when they got to Italy to go to the boats?
So, this is really before, the whole Britannia rules the waves thing. So they went to the next best person.
Britannia rules the waves.
So we went to the next best person at the time for shipbuilding, Venice. They were excellent shipbuilders. I don't really like them that much personally, but they were good shipbuilders, and they made a pretty good trade empire.
As goes the Vikings.
I mean, I agree. I like the Vikings.
The Vikings' best shipbuilders.
Yeah, man. So they ended up doing that. They realized the problem is, like James mentioned earlier, where no major figures joined the Crusade. Not all of them, because of this, they didn't feel the need to everyone show up at Venice at the same port. So only a third of the army showed up at Venice. So they didn't actually have the money to pay for all the ships. So
they had too many ships.
Yeah, that was the point. Like I said.
No, you didn't say they had too many ships. You said that they didn't have enough money to pay for the ships.
Had that all the people, they would have had enough money to pay for the ships.
That is not entirely sure.
Anyway, it's off topic.
Yeah, it is no, it's not. It's on the topic, but it's getting distracted.
Sorry, irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant, but go on.
So they decided that'd be a good idea. Well, how are we gonna pay this debt? And then they're like, well, I mean, I kind of lost the city named Zara, and I kind of want it back.
if you could just go and take it.
See, the problem with Crusaders is they really hate Muslims, but they did really love Christians. And the problem is this city was very much still Catholic.
Yeah, this is a Christian city that they would have to go and take.
But it was protected both by Hungary and Croatia, which, once again, still Christian.
Yeah, those are all Christian places.
So for this, we've seen some of the Crusaders just like, I'm out. But not that many.
Yeah, there was a division in the whole Crusader army. Some of them left, some of them just didn't go along with the whole thing, and then everyone else who was going along with it went along with it.
Which was the mass majority of them.
Yeah, it was the majority of them that went along with this whole thing.
They take the city. As midway through, the Pope threatens to excommunicate them. The High Command doesn't tell them, and they finish through. And the Pope says, like, "We're excommunicating you and Venice." And they're like, the High Command.
No, it was the Venetians, not just Venice.
The Phoenicians.
No.
Venetians. Sorry.
It's not Phoenicians.
My
it's
bad.
Venetians. Andrew.
My bad.
I'm gonna rip you to pieces every time you mispronounce stuff, mate.
But besides the point, they excommunicated, and then I think it was the French king begged them to forgive the Crusaders.
The French king, seriously? I thought
Yeah.
they just sent some noble back.
It may have been just about a French noble.
I think they just sent like a bunch of French dudes back.
It was definitely someone the French.
Yeah, it was French, but
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I can't.
But
really
they
remember
begged
who
for
it was.
forgiveness. They forgave the Crusaders, but Venice still was very much still excommunicated because they deserve to be. That's besides the point.
Yeah, screw Venice. for
Especially
that
what
whole
comes
thing.
next, they deserve it.
Yeah, Venice deserves to be excommunicated, and I think that it's hilarious that the entire Crusader force was excommunicated.
But you hate when that happens.
Oh, so annoying when my entire Crusader force for my religion gets excommunicated by the Pope.
You think that this would stop them? I think that they'd actually do their job now since they finally had their ships. No, because I think it was either Saxony or Bavaria. It was definitely part of Germany, southern Germany. They met this guy. Was it Alexander?
No, it's Alexios.
Oh, Alexios. I know
Alexios is what his name was.
That's what it was. Yeah, my bad.
But that was a while ago that they met this Alexios III.
Yeah, he was a part. It was basically.
Wait, no, not Alexios III. It was like, it was someone else. It was Alexios.
No, I think it was the third.
No.
Could have
the
been
third.
second.
No, the Alexios III was the one on the throne for the Byzantine Empire.
Oh.
It was Alexios like the fourth, and then his father, like, Ingio.
Number doesn't matter that
second.
much right now.
Yes, it does, because these are different people.
Basically, they all look the same.
It's like every Asian. Oh crap! That's racist. Never mind. Nothing happened. What?
Anyways, just get on the
Basically,
topic.
they met these guys who were basically in line. They met these dudes who were basically royals.
Yeah,
for the
Byzantines.
Yeah, for the Byzantines that were basically the emperor and his father, and he said that the other emperor was bad and threw him out and blinded his dad. So he's like, "Hey, can you like put me back on the throne?"
Did I mention I'm also still totally popular?
Oh yeah, he was so popular with the people. They got back and everyone just loved him.
And the Crusaders wanting Byzantine support, which I don't blame him into the first part of this.
Yeah, I don't blame him for
because I think the Byzantines are cool. That would have been nice having support. Plus, also they guaranteed money and potentially reuniting the churches, which also might have been pretty cool.
Yeah, if they had helped out with that whole crusade, Byzantines would have gotten good favor with the church.
Yeah, everything would have been nice. But the thing is, that's not what happened.
Oh, it's not.
So they go to Constantinople. The Pope once again threatens to excommunicate them.
Oh yeah, the Pope was threatening them pretty severely because he did not want them going near Constantinople.
And don't worry, they will be excommunicated by the end of this.
Yeah, no, they deserve it.
And then they decided to, with help of Venice, because of course you're there.
Of course.
They decide to go to Constantinople. They bring up this like a wannabe ruler, and they say, "Hey, this is your real emperor." And then the people start cursing at him and throwing stuff at him.
Yeah, nobody liked him.
Including arrows.
Yeah, everyone hated that guy.
So, they decided to do a friendly assistance on helping restore power.
Sounds like America and Latin American countries. We will friendly assist someone in taking power.
Hey, you can't prove that.
Oh, I'm sure I can't. Just go to every banana republic in Latin America, and I'm pretty sure the U.S. has had a hand in something.
Bananas are good.
Nanners. We have communist government. We have a democratic government, or we can have nanners. I think we're going with the bananas on this one.
I want to be a democracy. Okay, I'm a democratically elected communist. I heard dictatorship.
I heard have to topple your government.
Yep.
We can't have that.
But we'll talk about Cold War and all of that eventually.
Yeah, we'll talk about all that eventually.
I don't know what we're going to go for next topic. We'll probably figure that out.
We'll put all our topics in a hat and draw one out.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good system for picking it out.
Plus, we also need time to research it, so.
Yeah, that's true. Where were we?
Oh, we were at the part where they were just about to start the whole siege.
No. They put the one dude in power. They put the one dude in his power and his father in power. That
No, you forgot to
Alexios-
mention like something is that the Crusaders were trying to put him peacefully enough in power, managed to burn part of the city. But don't worry, this is not the first time.
They managed to burn part of the city, putting some guy peacefully in.
More, I'd say like relatively peacefully.
Oh,
compared to what's gonna have to happen next, this is definitely relatively peaceful.
All right, that makes more sense.
And don't worry, they're gonna be burning more of the city and destroying a lot of all of this amazing history very soon.
Fun times. So basically, they put the dude and his father on the throne, and then some other guy who has a nickname based off of his eyebrows. I cannot remember. It was like Mushkarazi or something like that.
Yeah.
Mushkarazi.
He hated the Latins and wanted to kick him out and build a wall around them.
Around
Their city. Oh wait, they already did that.
We need to build a wall to keep out the Latins.
We started the part where they already built the wall. But it's not disappointing. Basically, they didn't like the Latins, mainly because of the Crusaders, and he became very popular among the people because they also didn't like the Crusaders.
Yes.
And they killed the Emperor because he really wasn't liked at all.
Yeah, nobody liked that emperor. And then they also killed his father. They killed both of them. And then the dude with the bushy eyebrows took power.
And said no to paying them. Because here's the thing. The reason why he took power so quickly is because they didn't have the money to pay for it. And they burnt down a bunch of the ancient Roman and Byzantine artifacts. And they only still had half the money. And they were expecting their money. And they weren't leaving without it.
Ridiculous.
And they also demanded putting the dead guy back on the throne. And they're like, yeah, see about that.
We could. It wouldn't do anything.
You can't do that. And, the Crusaders not satisfied, and knowing that if they didn't continue backing down now would mean the end of the Crusade.
Yeah, they were broke.
They did it. They pushed in with the help of Venice. They eventually broke through the wall.
Whoa, you're getting too far ahead, man. You gotta go into the siege in depth.
Sorry. You want to go take this?
This is my speciality,
okay,
my
James,
friend.
take it from here.
Speciality. So basically, to start off, they went by sea, they went by sea, and they went to these two areas on either side of the Golden Horn, which isn't that like the bay that Constantinople's by?
Also, it's probably worth noting the fact that there was a chain there that they managed to break. That was like
no, they didn't break the chain. The chain there was a boom and the purpose of a boom is to stop ships from just going in, and it was usually attached to large hinge or pulley things to either raise or lower it. Lower it if you want ships to come in, raise it if you want them to not. And so they broke all the chain hinges and pulleys and stuff, and the chains just fell into the water. So then they could just go in if they wanted to by sea. And then on land, they set up a bunch of siege camps and built a bunch of siege engines, a lot of catapults and rams and stuff. And then they attacked the city.
They finally got in, and they burnt down.
Hey, you're skipping.
Fine.
You have to give the Byzantines some props here, Andrew, because the first time the Crusaders attacked, they failed.
Yeah,
they did a huge land attack and got pushed back.
I was about to give them a lot of credit during the Ottoman siege, because they deserved that then more than they deserved the Crusader one.
Yeah, the Crusader siege they didn't do very well. The Ottoman siege they did
we'll get to that one.
The Ottoman siege was awesome,
and then they still
lost.
Depresses me so much. But we'll talk about that.
Reminds me of when the Holy Roman Empire attacked the Papal State and that Swiss Guard. Oh man, I can't wait for that episode.
Back to what we were talking about.
The second attack went through.
Yeah, they finally made it in. They ransacked the city for 3 days, burnt down a significant amount of it, and killed a lot of the population, and stole a lot of the wealth out of it. Constantinople would not recover from this.
Also, I think it's worth noting that there were like 20,000 to 30,000 Venetians attacking this city. So screw them. Seriously.
Yeah.
They hate those guys.
And they also got, I think they got some part of the empire out of this.
The Venetians?
Yeah, I think at least temporarily. Or
they got like 3/8 of Constantinople itself.
As well as they introduced, like, I think it was the peninsula, as a few islands nearby. And you see modern-day Greece.
They basically totally monopolized the entirety of the Mediterranean trade.
And then the Crusaders, taking Constantinople as well as other parts of the empire, managed to establish the Latin Empire.
Yeah, and then one of the dudes who was one of the nobles in the Crusade, like a bunch of the nobles from the Crusade became rulers of these little countries.
Yeah.
That were founded afterwards.
Yeah, similar to the Crusader states in the Middle East.
It's funny because if I recall correctly, two of the nobles actually started fighting, and one of them died. I think the emperor of the first Latin emperor was emperor for like 1 year.
Dude,
it was
that's
like
impressive.
1204 to 1205 because he fought in one of the neighboring kingdoms and died in battle.
I think Guzman always lost a little shorter, though, to be honest, though.
I mean, that right there impresses the heck out of me that he managed to last 1 year.
Dude, I wish I could last a year in power.
Yeah, man, that was pretty impressive.
New record right there. But this Latin Empire wouldn't last that long. The Byzantines would eventually take back their territory.
Yeah, it was in 1261 the Byzantines took everything back, and so I'm happy for them.
But they were a shell of their former self.
They were not nearly as good.
And this is, keep in mind, they already lost Anatolia. When they lost Anatolia, they were
done.
They were down basically defending their territory, which they weren't doing an awful job at.
They were doing pretty decent.
Depending on the ruler, anyways.
Yeah, if you had a crap ruler, you were screwed.
Which is why Anatolia fell.
And also, I feel like I just want to talk about the Crusaders who actually did their job. Oh, because all the other Crusaders, after they sacked Constantinople, went home.
Yeah, fudge them.
Because they were like, oh yeah, look at all this loot we got. I guess we can just go home now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there was like one group of Crusaders, and it was like 300 knights, some infantry, and like 1 or 2 nobles, because they left way back when they were attacking Zara. They didn't do that. They just went straight to the Holy Land, I think.
No, it was Egypt.
Egypt. They went straight to Egypt.
There you go.
And they started helping out the kingdoms there, trying to take some land, because actually there were like 4 Christian kingdoms in the Middle East at the time from the First Crusade. The First Crusade set up 4 kingdoms. It's funny because the kingdom of Jerusalem didn't have Jerusalem in it anymore. That was taken.
Yeah. Oh, wait, never mind. Technically, I take it back. There is one period where they'll have it back. But we'll talk about that with the Crusade.
Yeah, they had it twice.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later in the Crusades. But all I gotta say is Crusade number 6. Muslims were not nice. And I'm not going to talk about that right now because that's stealing from valid content.
That's later stuff. But the Crusaders that did the job went to these kingdoms and they helped them out, got them some decent land. They did take some good territory for the Kingdom of Jerusalem and some of the other kingdoms. Did some good fights against the Seljuk Turks, won some pretty good stuff.
But nonetheless, it didn't matter.
It was garbage. It was almost nothing compared to what the
worst part is that had they
were.
actually went for Egypt, they probably could have actually taken a decent amount of land.
Yeah, they had a pretty...
Because the Caliphate, I think it was at the time, was going through turmoil, internal stress. Like, everything was perfect for an invasion of Egypt.
Yeah, that would have been excellent time. They had a lot of soldiers.
What if we just don't and try to ransack Christians?
Yeah, let's just destroy Christian countries because that's a good idea.
I will admit, it is partially due to the internal conflict of the Byzantine Empire that this situation could have happened.
Yeah.
But even still, I'm still blaming the Crusaders on this because they are not exempt for anything they did there.
Didn't they get excommunicated entirely by the Pope after that one?
I mean, what do you expect? They deserved every last bit of that.
They go and do a pull of that kind of stunt, I'm pretty sure they're getting kicked out.
I feel like the Byzantines may have been able to actually at least defend the city if it wasn't for this.
I don't know, man. That assault that they had to deal with, that was a lot.
But they were doing it pretty well. As well as I guess it was, okay, well, I could probably just move on to the should we talk a little about some of the emperors of the empire, or should we move on to the siege by the Turks?
we're going into the fall of the Byzantine Empire.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well. We only gone 20 minutes. We could use an extra 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, it makes sense. It wouldn't be long enough for its own podcast video, anyways.
Yeah, fine. We can go into the fall of the Byzantine Empire.
Keep in mind, they lost a lot of territory to the Bulgarians and the Turks over time, and basically they're down to just this peninsula, and
Constantinople.
I was going to talk about in Greece and then Constantinople, and that's all their territory.
They basically had nothing.
They basically had Constantinople.
Yeah, that's basically all they had was Constantinople at this point.
The Turks had an agreement not to invade them, but you know what they're gonna do? Because there's a new sultanate, I think it was what they call it.
There was a new sultan
on the throne, and guess what? He doesn't care about your treaties.
Wasn't his name like Mehmet?
I know he's a second for sure.
I'm pretty sure his name was Mehmet, which sounds so stupid. He was like Mehmet the Conqueror.
I feel like if we roasted his name hard enough, he wouldn't invaded.
Yeah, I feel like if we had just gone back in time and roasted his name hard enough, he would have just committed suicide or something, and then he wouldn't have invaded. But
unfortunately, they didn't do that.
Mehmet was a jerk store and decided that he was going to just take Constantinople because it was there.
Yeah, he offered the terms to Constantine the 11th, which I thought was a pretty cool emperor, despite his lack of territory.
Yeah.
Basically, he was offered to keep his peninsula in Greece and give up the city, and he'd rule there for his lifetime.
Yes.
And also be friends.
And then Constantine was like,
I can't surrender the city to you or anyone because it's beyond me. It's beyond any of us.
He was
something like that.
He basically just said no.
He said no.
To be frank, he was just like,
and
no.
To be fair, though, the city does contain so many things that just weren't worthy of giving up to anyone.
Yeah, they weren't pulling in.
There's so much history, ancient artifacts, the walls, the several churches, which were really amazing engineering.
The churches of Constantinople were ridiculously awesome. No, it was just the Church of Saint Sophia.
Oh yeah.
It became the Hagia Sophia after they took it.
I keep thinking it because
Andrew.
My bad.
Get out.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, leave. I'll do the rest of the podcast myself.
But yeah, that was just disappointing in general, just to see all this stuff fall, so much history destroyed in the siege was about to happen. So I
blame the West for this.
Yeah,
because
right before this, because they basically kind of gave him like the warning to the Byzantines, like, yeah, give us your city now with the whole offering the peace thing. But then it's like, okay, there's only one thing we can do: ask for help from the West and prepare the city.
Yes,
and he did a pretty good job of preparing the city. But the West, basically, Venice feeling mildly guilty, is in Geneva sent like a one army or something like that.
Oh, that's not bad, but I mean,
it was a pretty high quality one, but not nearly enough to protect the city. Like, they needed more than that.
Yeah, and I like how I'm pretty sure it was like the previous emperor was like John the III.
Yeah,
he went to, I think it was Florence, to try and like talk to the church, make amends, and then get some Western help. Goes, talks to the church, leaves with a union. And then
nothing happened.
Yeah, because they didn't like the Byzantines very much.
Like, I get you, but I'm pretty sure you should hate the Turks more than the Byzantines.
Yeah,
especially if you help them regain a lot of their former territory. I feel like they'd basically stuck in your debt, and you could pretty much just use them to your advantage.
Yeah, it'd be so nice. You could
not saying I want the Byzantines to be in a state like that, but nonetheless, you had the opportunity and you didn't utilize it.
Stupidest.
But they were all caught in their own rivalries and
rivalries.
And they're only caring about themselves at the time. It's just disappointing.
Yeah, I don't like the West in that situation. The Turks are worse, though. Well, actually, Mehmet was pretty good about conquering Constantinople. But not really, because he still conquered Constantinople.
Not just that, just the siege afterwards decimated the city still.
Yeah.
And destroyed a lot of their... Plus, just changing everything kind of destroyed some of the former beauty of the city and history.
At least he was in awe of what was left. I would be, man. That city was great.
Yeah, they managed to get some of the relics out of it, but not nearly enough.
Yeah.
But talking about the siege, it lasted for like 6 weeks of nothing happening.
6 weeks? Seriously?
Yeah, or they shot their cannons at it.
They shot cannons at it.
Yeah, they did a lot of damage.
Man, screw the Ottomans with their cannons.
And then at night, the Byzantines would repair the walls, repeat.
Oh, great, for 6
As
weeks.
well as they did basically play like a Troy tactic of dumping oil on them.
Oh, that's the stuff to do. You
Whenever they tried using ladders and stuff, they were shooting arrows at them.
dump hot oil.
Yeah, like they did a lot
Shoot
of the
arrows.
stuff. They basically did anything they could to keep the city safe,
And they were doing a good job.
And then some idiot left the gate open.
Wait,
seriously? One of the gates open.
Some idiot left a gate open.
And then they just charged it. They managed to repel them for a while, but by the
They
third
managed to
push,
hold that gate.
But by the third push, they couldn't do it anymore, and they got in. And when they got in, it was too late. They didn't have the numbers. Keep in mind, this is like 7,000 Byzantine, or like an army, and then like there was like 5,000 Venetians.
Well, that's not
versus 80,000 Ottomans.
Great, 12,000 defending against 80,000 attacking. Actually, that's not terrible if you could have kept them outside the walls.
Yeah, like I said, honestly, like I said, they wouldn't have been able to take Constantinople had the gate not been left open, honestly.
Yeah, if they hadn't left that gate open, they never would have taken Constantinople.
It would have been like a really cool city-state, and we would have it would have been a really cool modern-day country, but no.
No.
That didn't happen.
This is stupid.
And honestly, I feel like the Sultan may have been deposed in that situation. just breaking the treaty and embarrassing the entire nation, but nope. They broke in, and the day before the final push, they managed to also break through the wall eventually because of like the whole chaos. Because another thing that would also spread the troops thin is that they tried to get into the Golden Horn, but they couldn't get to the chain, so they went over land of their territory and then went to the other side of it, and they had to spread their troops thin, and eventually they got thin. And the night before, they basically had like a day of peace and rest, and the Byzantines took that day to basically say their final prayers, take all their stuff, try to put it somewhere safe away from the Ottomans.
Yeah.
And the emperor sat there basically saying subjects saying, I'm dying with the city.
Yeah, he was down.
He was a pretty cool guy because he like killed like 60 Ottoman troops before dying.
This is an account by the Ottomans. I would not trust 60. That is a lot of guys to kill. The Ottomans say that he killed like a bunch of guys and then got his head chopped off, and that was it.
And like one of the like supposed lines from him is that my city fell and yet I still stand here. Why?
And then he died.
Yeah, he did eventually die, but yeah, he did not want to see the city ever go into Turks' hands. And the Byzantines saw this city as heaven on earth. Like, I mean, it was a pretty impressive city.
He saw the city as heaven on earth after they destroy it.
Yeah, before it destroyed it. And to be fair, it was probably the best city at the time.
Yeah, that was
far
best city. After thousands of years of the
Ottomans did make some decent repairs, but I still felt like they never really come back to former glory.
They did a garbage job, and converting everything to a mosque.
That was just rude. Like you should have left. You should have left some of the.
They left like one.
Yeah, that was
one church.
That's not okay. That's just disrespectful.
They leave one church. They take this Church of Saint Sophia, make it in the Hagia Sophia.
Fine.
Garbage.
But you can't just take everything else on top of that.
Yeah.
That's just rude.
So stupid. And they covered up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Garbage.
And they destroyed a lot of the ancient relics, looted a lot of the valuables from even things from the Roman period. Because keep in mind, the Byzantines were very much still the Eastern Roman Empire and had basically inherited everything from the Romans.
Yeah, dude. So they had some ridiculously old artifacts. And
just one of the coolest things also I mentioned with the Byzantines, the Greek fire.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about that eventually, though.
Actually, no, wait. Yeah, they did. No, they invented Greek fire.
Yeah, they know. And they kept that as a closely guarded secret, and they also used that during the siege.
And then nobody figured it out how to make it. So now we don't know how. That's great.
Yay.
Love not knowing how to use awesome weapons.
We'll talk about the Byzantines eventually. I think this is a good time to leave it off because we're at 29 minutes.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So I think it was a pretty good first episode.
I feel like why are we drawing conclusions on our own stuff? That's other people's job to criticize us.
Hey, if I declare it, then no one else can argue against it.
I didn't say it. I declared it.
Exactly. Pro strats right there, guys.
Yep, sounds good to me.
I think we should probably sign off now.
All right, look forward to some of you guys' criticism.
Next week it'll be something. We'll figure it out.
Next week we're gonna put things in a hat and try and figure it and get a topic.
Yep.
So
peace.
See you.